Hey everyone, I'm Nick and welcome to the channel. Now some of you have told me that it looks like I'm outgrowing my garage. And well, that's not really true. It was just getting really messy. So I cleaned it up, and while I was at it I was like, why not get a little upgrade? So I got a 2-post lift. So as you can see, the garage isn't packed full of stuff anymore. It was a lot of work, but with some help, we got a lot done and it's way nicer in here now. And there's even room for these. These are MaxJax. They're the only real option for 2-post lifts for a residential garage with a pretty low ceiling. And they're portable, so if I do outgrow the garage, I can take them with me. And I can also unbolt them and move them out of the way when I need to as well. Now the eagle-eyed among you may notice that these MaxJax are black. And that's because these days they're owned by bendpak, and they come in the bendpak gray, but these are an older version that I bought used from back when they were made by Danmar, and they have 2 lifting levels, which we will probably address at some point in the future. Now, why did I buy them used? Well, they're about $5,000 new, and these were $2,500. So that was a deal that was too good to pass up. Now, while these are on wheels and you can move them around, it's not as simple as just putting them in your garage and lifting a car. You do have to anchor them into your floor, so that's what we're gonna do today. Right now, these are positioned and they look like they're ready to go, and I positioned them by doing some measuring on a bunch of cars to see like if the arms will fit, but the final step before we anchor them is gonna be to bring the cars in and double check that everything fits right.
The first car we brought in was a 2011 Mercedes E-Class. The lift arms fit just fine, which was a great start. Then we brought in my 2004 Mercedes S-Class, which is the longest car we bring into the garage regularly at 203 inches. The first car I'll be working on with this lift is actually the other S-Class, which needs new bearings, so don't forget to subscribe if you want to see that. The jack points were also easily reachable, but I realized I centered the post between the lifting points and not at the center of gravity. It turns out that's usually around the driver's seat for rear-wheel drive cars or under the steering wheel for front-wheel drive cars, so we moved the post forward to make sure the car would be nice and balanced. It's also a pretty small garage at about 20 feet long, so it was important to get this right. Then we test fit a Mini Cooper S, which is very small, and my supercharged Range Rover, even though it's a bit tall for this lift in this garage. For now. With the lift position tested and adjusted, we need to square the posts up. I used a few tape measures, some string, the garage door, and the wall to line them up. Once they were aligned properly, I used masking tape to mark their positions. And with that done, it's time to drill the concrete.
All right, so we're gonna use a rotary hammer drill, a 7/8 concrete bit. This is a SDS drill, so the mount is like this. We're also gonna be using wedget anchors. That's what they originally came with on these back in the day. Oops, these are 5/8. We wanna go to 5-inch depth. So we're gonna mark our drill bit.
We're going to start drilling with the plate in place to make sure the holes are aligned properly. Then once all 5 are started, we'll move the post out of the way and go to the full 5-inch depth.
Wear a mask and gloves, earring protection. And we got a vacuum too. All right.
Here you can really see how important it is to use a vacuum because there would be a lot of dust otherwise. Drilling this first hole took a lot longer than I expected, and I'm going to go into why that happened in just a little bit.
Alright, that's one. Jeez.
Partway through the second hole, the progress was really slow and the drill was getting really hot, so it was time to take a different approach.
Now you'll notice here that this is a bigger drill now. The one I used earlier is made to drill up to 1-inch holes, and 7/8 is very close to 1 inch, so it got a little hot. This is gonna work a lot better. It should work a lot better. You should be fine with the one in between that's like 1 1/4 inch hole. This does 1 9/16, but you also need the SDS Max bit, which is
bigger size, but I figure I may need this again in the future if I get a bigger shop, and the regular full height 2-post lift, so I can anchor it into the ground with this. It'll be good to have. Plus, you can use these as hammers for demolition, so it won't be bad to have. And I will be using the smaller one, the smaller rotary hammer, to drill the holes on the other side, to like pre-drill, and then we'll switch over to this one. And again, I've heard a lot of people get the medium size as the SDS Plus bit and are just fine, so.
So I guess the tip of the day is buy bigger than you need.
Yeah, I think it's at least 1 1/4, which is the middle size between the other one. But this is 1 9/16, so it's just like.
Yeah, so this is 1 9/16, so $149. And then buy this bit from
Which was
Home
like
Depot.
50 something. There's a Diablo.
So $200.
And you just easy peasy.
All right, now it's time to prep the holes. We're gonna double check the depth, we're gonna clean them out, blow them out, vacuum them out, and we'll be good. All right, so what you wanna keep in mind is that if you use a vacuum, you're not actually gonna get everything out. So we gotta blow air into the holes. Now I have an air compressor I can do that with. We wanna get as much dust as possible out of it because it'll help the anchor seat properly. And it's the same thing if you're using epoxy anchors. You wanna make sure the whole sides are clean and good to go. So, I've got my mask on, got the shop vac, air, so I'm gonna blow out all the holes. There's gravel in there. Where I protect them too. I'll brush it. Got an old toothbrush that loosens the dust off the sides. I'm gonna double check my depths. Now, if you're curious, Wedget says drill 5 inches. The actual anchor is just under 4 inches, so you got plenty of room to drill 5 inches.
I alternated brushing out the holes with a round nylon brush and blowing out the dust, and I repeated that until there was no more dust in the holes.
All right, so now it's time to set the anchors. I actually did it on the other side to get some practice. Yeah, so we've got our sacrificial bolt threaded into the anchor we're gonna use. In my case, my anchors are the Wedget PD 58s. So I drilled 5 inches and I'm gonna need to set this distance here to 5/8 of an inch. So I'm using this little ruler and setting it. And if you notice this tape, I actually wrapped tape around the threads and then a piece of tape across the bolt because I noticed that when I was hammering it in on the other side, the nut would turn a bit and it would change the height. So just for consistency, I put the tape on the nut and I'll take it off when I go to tighten it up. I also am not using the washer that's included in the anchor kit because it's a little small and after one setting, it kind of turned into like a little cone. So I'm actually using these, which I got from Home Depot. 5/8 inch flat washers, 25 pack. I also needed washers for the setting bolts because this was used, so I did not get bolts with it. So I've got my 2 inch 5/8-11 bolts to mount the post. So it'll just go on like that. I also used this one for like 1 or 2 sets, so I'm just gonna cycle through a fresh one every other anchor. And yeah, so that's what I have here. The tools I'm gonna use are something to measure, which you see. I've got a 15/16 socket, crescent wrench to get started, a hammer, some sort of bar to hold the top bolt, because what we're gonna do once it's in, we're gonna hold this, tighten this down until we reach 90 foot-pounds. And I've got a crow's foot in 15/16. Now, if you're using a different set of anchors with different sizes, you'll just need the right size for this. If you're using this type of anchor, If you're using an epoxy anchor, it's a different procedure. And I got this one in 15/16 from Harbor Freight, the crow's foot wrench set in SAE. It'll be good to have, and it was a lot faster than waiting for it to be delivered. You can order just the one on Amazon. They're about 20 bucks. And I have a step down adapter, and I've got a torque wrench. Now, you'll notice here, the torque wrench sets torque for things that are at this distance. When you have a crow's foot, pivot point is a little further out. So I'll put a calculator down below, but you essentially use the distance from your mark here to the top, and you enter it in the calculator. You enter how much further this is from the original point. For me, it's like 1 1/4 inch. And the calculated torque that I have to put in is 85.2 instead of 90. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. All right, first step, we're gonna, I guess we'll start with this one. Just pop it over here, hold it up, and we're gonna bang it in. There's a reason it's a sacrificial bolt. I'm gonna knock it in until the washer and the nut are flush with the ground. Okay, finally. All right, so we set this to loosen, and we're gonna hold this one in place. I'll let you peel off the tape. And we're gonna start tightening it. So now, since it's pretty tight, we're gonna put our torque wrench on. The reason I got a longer one is you have better grip. Get easier. There you go, and then once it reaches the torque, get on here. Loosen it. And it is set. This one's a little deeper, but it is set to spec. And our bolt here will have plenty of thread to grab in there. All right, now we bring this back up. Get a fresh one here. Get a new anchor. I'm gonna get it on until it bottoms out. It stops. Get it to 5/8. And here we go again. Oh geez, okay. See, that's what I was worried about. It started spinning separate from the nut, so I'm gonna measure to make sure I'm not too far off. There we go. The reason I'm wearing a glove on this hand is because I don't want to scrape my knuckles on the concrete. I'm gonna blow that out.
Now it's time to bolt down the posts and shim them so they're nice and plumb. My garage has a slight slope towards the doors, so I needed some shims on that side of the base. I used a long level to check as I went. Once both sides were done, I double checked that the distances at the top and the bottom of the post were the same. Now it's finally time to put the arms back on and see if they're synced up. If you're installing a brand new set, this is when you'd bleed the system.
That's working.
It's a little noisy coming down, but that's because it doesn't have a car on it. So now the real test. Let's bring in a car and lift it up. The way the posts are positioned, I was actually able to use the door to get out of the car pretty easily. This car's jack points are 68 inches apart, which means that if I want to use my quick jacks, I need to put them in sideways, even with the extensions, which means that it would move the car towards the center of the garage. With the MaxJax, I'll be lifting it straight up with no obstructions underneath.
This is what I was talking about. It's so open in here. It's such a difference. And it's higher. It's good. Oh wait, now we can do this.
I'll bring back the other one's worse.
These bearings are in really bad shape, and I'll be replacing them very soon.
That is really cool. So, I now have a 2-post lift. It's not too bad to install. I was very happy to see the depth of the concrete. It was like at least 5 to 6 inches everywhere I drilled. So that was great. Even though it's only gonna lift slightly higher than quick jacks most of the time, it's gonna make it a lot easier to do a lot of jobs because I'll be able to get in from the sides of the car instead of the quick jacks where you have to go in through the front or the back. If you wanna see me do a comparison of the quick jacks versus MaxJax, let me know. And if you enjoyed this video or this video helped you out, don't forget to leave a like. And if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. If you wanna see more videos like this or you wanna watch me work on cars, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.